cold earth pressing against me. It's been a century since I was buried alive, the victim of a jealous rival who sought to steal my love. The memories of that night haunt me even now, a spectral echo of my torment. I had been a healer in our village, well-loved and respected. But jealousy can twist even the kindest hearts into something unrecognizable. He lured me into the woods, promising to show me a rare herb that could cure any ailment. I followed him, trusting, unaware of the malice in his eyes. The next thing I knew, I was gasping for air, dirt filling my mouth as he buried me alive. My last thought was of revenge. Death did not bring me peace. My spirit remained tethered to the place of my demise, fueled by a burning desire for vengeance. Over the years, I have learned to manipulate the living world. I can whisper in the ears of the unsuspecting, plant seeds of doubt and fear. I can move objects, create disturbances, and drive men to madness. The village changed over the decades, but the descendants of my murderer thrived, seemingly untouched by the weight of his crime. I watched generations grow, laughed and loved, oblivious to the curse that loomed over them. They prospered while I remained bound to my grave, my rage festering with each passing year. I bided my time, perfecting my influence over the mortal realm. Now, his descendants live in the village, blissfully unaware of the curse that shadows their family. One by one, I will visit them, each night growing stronger. I will not rest until his bloodline is eradicated, and my soul can finally find peace. The first to feel my wrath will be the eldest son, a man as arrogant and cruel as his ancestor. I have already begun to haunt his dreams, filling them with visions of his impending doom. I am the unseen force that tips over his inkpot, the whisper that turns his wife against him. Every misfortune he suffers is my doing. Soon, he will break, and when he does, I will be there, watching, waiting. I will have my revenge, and the world will remember the name of the healer who was wronged.
I was an ordinary woman once, living a simple life in a small town. I had a job I loved, a man I planned to marry, and dreams of a future filled with happiness. But all that changed when Maria came into my life. She was ambitious, ruthless, and she wanted my job. She spread lies, manipulated my friends, and turned my boss against me. In the end, she succeeded. I was fired, humiliated, and left with nothing. In my despair, I sought out the old woman who lived on the edge of town. They said she was a witch, that she could grant any wish, for a price. Desperation pushed me to her door. She listened to my story, her eyes cold and calculating. "You want revenge," she said, her voice like rustling leaves. I nodded, and she smiled. She gave me a vial of dark liquid and a set of instructions. "Drink this under the full moon," she said. "Your enemy will suffer as you have suffered." That night, I followed her instructions, feeling the power surge through me. The next day, Maria's hair began to fall out in clumps. Her skin erupted in painful sores. She lost everything, just as I had. As Maria's life unraveled, I watched from the shadows, a twisted satisfaction growing within me. Her friends abandoned her, repulsed by her disfigurement. Her career crumbled, her reputation shattered. She became a recluse, hiding from the world she once dominated. But the power came at a cost. My reflection no longer showed the woman I once was. My eyes were dark, my skin pale and cold. I had become something else, a vessel of vengeance. People in the town began to whisper about me, noticing my transformation. They spoke of the strange aura that surrounded me, the way animals shied away, the chill that followed me like a shadow. I no longer cared. My purpose was clear. The witch's gift had made me powerful, but it also isolated me, binding me to a path of darkness. I sought out others who had been wronged, offering them the same dark power, reveling in the chaos and retribution that followed. Now, I walk the world, seeking out those who have been wronged, offering them the same dark power. For I am no longer just a woman, I am a harbinger of retribution. Each act of vengeance I orchestrate feeds the darkness within me, drawing me deeper into the abyss. But I embrace it, for it is the only thing that gives my existence meaning. And I will continue to spread the witch's curse until the day I am no more.
I was born into a family cursed by the full moon. For generations, we have been werewolves, transforming into monstrous beasts with an insatiable hunger for flesh. We live in isolation, far from those who might discover our secret. My father taught me to control the beast within, to embrace the change without losing myself. But one night, hunters came to our door. They had heard rumors of our kind and sought to end our bloodline. They killed my family, one by one, until only I remained. Bound and broken, I watched them laugh and celebrate their victory. They left me for dead, believing they had wiped out the last of the werewolves. They were wrong. The rage and sorrow in my heart ignited a fire that burned hotter than the full moon. I embraced the beast, letting it consume me. My wounds healed, my strength returned, and I hunted them down. One by one, I tore them apart, savoring their screams. But my revenge did not stop with their deaths. I became a legend, a ghost story whispered among hunters. They spoke of the werewolf who could not be killed, the monster that hunted those who dared to take up arms against his kind. I relished in their fear, each hunt a symphony of terror and blood. I traveled from village to village, leaving a trail of destruction in my wake. My humanity slipped away with each kill, the beast within me reveling in its freedom. One night, I came across a group of young hunters, eager to prove themselves. They were different, more determined, armed with knowledge and weapons forged in ancient rituals. They believed they could end me, but I was prepared. The battle was fierce, but my rage and the power of the full moon gave me the edge. As I stood over their broken bodies, I felt a momentary pang of regret for what I had become. Now, I wander the night, seeking out those who hunt my kind. I am no longer just a man cursed by the moon. I am vengeance incarnate. I am the nightmare that haunts the dreams of hunters, the shadow that stalks them through the woods. They thought they could extinguish our bloodline, but they only made me stronger. And I will not rest until every last one of them is dead. The beast within me roars for blood, and I will not deny it.
Once, I was a scholar, obsessed with the secrets of life and death. My research led me to a forbidden tome, an ancient book that promised the power to transcend mortality. I was warned of the dangers, but my curiosity was too great. I performed the ritual, expecting enlightenment. Instead, I was transformed into a ghoul, a creature of the night that feeds on the dead. At first, I was horrified by what I had become. I hid in the shadows, feeding on the remains of those long forgotten. But over time, I came to embrace my new existence. I discovered that with each body I consumed, I gained their memories, their knowledge. I became powerful, but with power came enemies. A rival scholar, jealous of my discoveries, set a trap for me. He lured me into a crypt, where he and his followers ambushed me. They bound me with chains forged in holy fire, leaving me to rot in the darkness. But they underestimated my will to survive. I gnawed through my own flesh to escape, my body healing as I consumed the dead around me. The taste of their fear was intoxicating, and with each life I took, I felt myself grow stronger. I delved deeper into the dark arts, mastering spells and curses that only a ghoul could wield. The rival scholar thought himself safe, protected by wards and spells. But he underestimated the bond one had forged with death. I infiltrated his dreams, turning them into nightmares from which he could not wake. Now, I seek out those who betrayed me. I can feel their fear, taste their terror in the air. I haunt their dreams, appearing to them as a decaying corpse. They cannot escape me, for I am bound to them by the ritual that cursed me. One by one, I will consume them, gaining their knowledge, their power. And when I am done, I will be more than a ghoul. I will be a god of death, unstoppable and eternal. Their screams echo in my mind as I tear through their flesh, their knowledge flooding into me like a dark tide. Each victim brings me closer to my goal. I will raise an army of the dead, a legion of ghouls bound to my will. Together, we will sweep across the land, leaving nothing but darkness and despair in our wake. My revenge will be complete, and those who dared to cross me will be nothing but a distant memory. As my power grows, so does my ambition. I no longer see myself as merely a victim of a curse, but as a master of it. The dead answer my call, rising from their graves to serve me. I lead them on a relentless march, a plague upon the world of the living. Towns crumble before us, their inhabitants fleeing in terror or succumbing to the inevitable. I revel in their despair, each act of destruction fueling my dark soul. But even as I embrace my new identity, a part of me yearns for something more. The memories of my past life linger, fragments of the scholar I once was. I remember the pursuit of knowledge, the joy of discovery. Perhaps, in the ruins of the world I will create, I can build something new. A kingdom of the dead, where knowledge and power are the ultimate currency, and I am its eternal ruler. The line between vengeance and ambition blurs, and I find myself at the threshold of a dark and infinite future.